we are on our way to another of the world's greatest natural phenomena, Iguassu Falls.
Iguassu Falls can be considered the world's greatest waterfall. It's so big you see it from two countries. From Brazil, you look up at the falls, and from Argentina, you look down into the main cascade called the Devil's Throat. It's a thundering wonder.
Staying here at Das Cataratas Hotel, a grand old hotel, the only one that's in the national park here in Brazil. Very easy to just head out the front door of the hotel and down the steps in the front yard along the river walkway, and right away you're getting great vistas of these amazing waterfalls at Iguasu.
And we are with our local guide who is going to be telling us some about the history and the animals and vegetation of the area as we go.
And this is the trail we will walk on. Actually a little less than a mile. And we go a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit down. We have about 350 different kinds of birds, including toucans, parrots.
And it's got more fun attractions, such as this curious looking animal. Have you ever seen a little beastie like this? Quatimonte, they're natives of the Brazilian rainforest, South American animals.
They are very similar to a raccoon, same family actually, but they are active during the day and they have a longer nose than a raccoon. And they are very used to people. Sometimes when people are walking around with food on them, the coatis just try to grab the food. They have long nails and they can nail and they can bite if there is food involved. So far it's hard for you to believe, but believe me, it will be clear later.
This is right near the front yard of the Cataratas Hotel. There's half a dozen of these major viewing points along the walkway. So don't miss that walkway. So many visitors do. They just take the shuttle bus, or their tour bus brings them directly to the waterfall, and they miss out on half the show. Fortunately, they have a sidewalk they've built into the side of the chasm. It's very nicely protected with the guard railing and with different viewpoints along the way. But then as you get closer to the big falls, the major cascade, it gets even more stupendous. When you arrive, you are hit immediately with the first view of the falls, looking down at them. And it is such an impressive sight, you'll never forget it. By all means, grab some snapshots, but never mind, the pictures just cannot capture the real grand, amazing power of these falls. You have to be there in person. But it's fun to take your pictures. It's a little tricky, but you can do it. It's a little bit foggy today in the morning, but it'll clear up in the afternoon. It's still kind of a cloudy day, so the water is looking a little bit gray. On a bright sunny day, you'll see rainbows and the water is a blinding white. But we'll be seeing that later on. There's different perspectives on this side where you can see it from down below, from the side, and from in front. And then from the observation platform, you're very nicely protected and you can get right up next to the waterfall. You can even touch it from here. That's how close you are.
It's really the most incredible waterfall you'll ever see. Similar to Niagara, but wider. And there's 400,000 gallons a second coming over this waterfall on an average day.
And it's really a good idea to stay here for a while and soak it up. Don't just go to the falls and have a quick look and take a quick snapshot and then leave. That would be a mistake. You want to go to the falls and spend some time, quality time here, and just absorb the power and the grandeur and the beauty. You could spend hours just gazing into these falls and into the beautiful environment around it. Take a break and then come back and look again.
On the Brazilian side, when you walk out on the catwalk in front of the waterfall, you get probably the most spectacular view of all, because you're looking up at the huge cascade. When you're out in front, you might get a little wet or you might not, depends on which way the wind is blowing. And then around alongside you, there's more waterfalls and the river itself dropping down behind you. So you're really surrounded. It's almost 260 degrees of being just surrounded by the waterfalls at that point.
Right out on the catwalk. This is really where you get the best perspective of Iguasu on the Brazilian side. There's an elevator that will take you right to the top for the upper level viewing platform. They even have a snack bar up there.
When you get to the upper level, there are some other attractions that will keep you interested. You have a view and you have a snack bar. Yeah, you can sit down, have a hamburger, a soda, some French fries, and relax, take a little break. It's your basic food, your basic fast food counter. Nothing gourmet here, but it's a welcome break because we're spending a few hours here at the waterfall. We're not just taking a look and leaving. Across the way, across the river, we can see the platform in Argentina where they're looking down into the Devil's Throat. We'll get there later. They've got some nice billboards posted to educate you about the waterfall and the natural environment here in the park. Well, then after you've enjoyed your visit to the main waterfall complex on the Brazil side, you can then walk back on the same pathway. It's an easy walk. It's just under a mile, a few steps along the way, and observation platforms to enhance the view. Well, back at the hotel, we have a chance to relax in the gardens, just take it easy, take a little break, wait for the lighting to change and the weather to clear. We stay at Das Cataratas Hotel during our visit to Iguasu. It's a grand old-style building and recently entirely renovated by the Orient Express Company, which is now managing it and has turned it into a very upscale 5-star deluxe hotel.
And you can see from the aerial photograph how close the hotel is to the waterfalls. It's less than a mile.
It's the only hotel that's in the Brazilian National Park at Iguasu. It does seem an adventure with these exotic animals around you, another quati. Now you can get from the hotel to the cascade in several different ways. You can walk, or you can take a shuttle bus. That's a free service that's operated by the National Park Service. The buses run every 15 minutes. Or you can walk along the roadway. Now, that's really the least desirable way to get there. If you're going to walk from the hotel down to the falls, you might as well walk on the beautiful trail along the river that gives you the grand vistas. But many people are not even aware of that trail, and they just simply follow the sidewalk and they walk along the street, which is a little bit quicker, a little bit easier, but not nearly as exciting. Later in the day, it got nice and sunny, so we had perfect conditions. On the Brazilian side, you have perhaps the best single view because you're standing above the waterfall looking down at the powerful cascade, and then you're standing down in front of the cascade itself looking straight at it. Another lovely bonus of viewing the falls on a sunny afternoon is that you'll probably get a rainbow. The rainbow effect is caused by the mist from the waterfall itself, not from any rain coming down. So even on the most clear day in the afternoon, you will probably get a beautiful rainbow. So you don't need to have any rain coming down. The rainbows are just there as part of the waterfall. That's another good reason for staying at the falls at least overnight, so that you have a good period of time to catch some good weather and enjoy the lighting at different times of the day. You'll find that there's an elevator that can take you down. Now that's pretty convenient. There's a staircase you can easily walk down if you wish. But the elevator ride, oh, that gives you another show. A moving panorama as you enjoy this cascade spilling out in front of you.
You can see the falls from above, from the side, and from down below. And this convenient walkway that brings you right out in front of the waterfall.
And then the walkway extends out further in front,
looking up into the Devil's Throat area.
When you come to the waterfall, you want to get the best view. And there it is, looking up into the Devil's Throat. It is so spectacular. You're surrounded by waterfalls on every side. But to get there, you're going to get wet probably, depending on which way the wind blows. You'll get this amazing rainbow effect. It's from the very end of the walkway. You have to get out there. Even if you get wet, don't worry about it. You can wear a cheap raincoat. That's advisable. You don't want to get totally drenched to the bone. And wipe your camera lens off between shots so that you can get a clear one now and then. Maybe you'll be lucky and the wind's blowing the other way, but usually there's a mist out on that walkway, but it is so worth it. Sometimes to get the best view, you really have to make an extra effort. And this is an example of exactly that situation. Out at the end of the walkway, that's where you'll find the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And then the elevator can take you back up to the main observation platform. You get all these wonderful different angles. It's so easy. There's a staircase you could walk up. Now here's a flashback to 1989. In those old days, we were allowed to go to the very roof of the observation deck, but we had to go climbing up this ladder to get up there. Rather precarious, but we wanted to get every inch of elevation that we could for the view looking down on the waterfall. They've closed this off since then, but back in the old days you could climb up the ladder and take a look from the top of the building. The view from the panorama terrace is truly awesome. It's a great place to take your pictures. You want to try and frame it correctly. Hold the camera up so that you can get the waterfall into the background of the shot instead of just plain old sky behind you. Digital cameras are so easy to use. You can leave it on automatic exposure and focus here, and then you can use the little LCD screen to frame your picture while you're holding the camera up high above your head to get the best angle. And get some pictures looking down at the falls. So nice here late in the day with that golden light coming in. We could just stand here and watch for a long time, and that's what we're doing. You'll notice in today's program, we're spending the entire program at Iguassu Falls, giving you a detailed look. There's that elevator structure that'll bring you up and down for the different perspectives. We're here late in the afternoon. You see the falls are beginning to turn a lovely golden shade. The sun shines right onto the falls and really lights it up, so that's a good time to be here. Right towards sunset, when the water turns a golden yellow. And you can just stand and soak it in. This is the kind of place where you don't want to just take a quick look, take a picture, and then leave. That would be a big mistake. After all, it's taken quite a bit of effort to get you here. You have to fly here, and then you've got to transfer in the bus. You spend the night or two in the hotel if you're visiting it right. Some people just fly in for the day and fly right out. But people are in a bit of a hurry when they travel, unfortunately. And many travelers just basically don't stay long enough. They'll take a look and they leave. It's the kind of destination that you want to just hang out for a while. Take your pictures, talk about it, think about it, and then just soak it in. Just watch it for a while. And you can watch it from all these different perspectives. You see it from the side, you can walk out in front. We finally had enough of that golden cascade, and now we're heading back towards the hotel, taking that same path that we took to get down here. We'll walk back along the same path and get some more spectacular views. And that's how we're going to get back to the hotel. We could take the shuttle bus, at about a 5-minute ride on the bus, or you walk it. It's 7/8 of a mile, so that's an easy walk. And you get these bonuses along the way, especially at sunset. We've got some beautiful lighting and views of the falls across the river and back at the Devil's Throat. Truly a thrilling experience. And this walk takes you about half an hour or a little bit longer if you want to really stop and gaze at the view and get some fine photographs along the way. And as we get towards the hotel, it opens up even more on the sides here. And along the way, you're rewarded with the vistas looking across the river, across the Iguasu River, to the huge waterfalls on the Argentina side. We have thoroughly covered this Brazilian view of the falls. Now we're heading back to the hotel, and tomorrow is another big day. We're going over to the Argentine side, and in the morning, we'll start out with breakfast and a boat ride.